Welcome to another episode of the Counterculture Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, along with my great friend and co-host, Taylor. And we're doing it live.
It's always
not really
live.
Not really live at all.
It's always live in post.
I guess that's true.
That's
You know,
like
watching
podcasting.
videos is almost like a form of time travel? Because you're watching something from a previous point in time in the future.
Whoa, don't hurt yourself. But yes. Sleight of hand.
See,
people.
that's what kind of night we're going to have. So before we hop on into it, really.
I just show up, guys.
Yeah. Well, you show up. You live here.
You see, the funny thing is half the time I don't know what we're going to talk about. He likes to keep me in suspense.
Yeah,
So
I prefer to keep him in the dark. That way,
he knows I'm best raw. So
yes, it's been proven time and time again that I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
go for it. Just you might as well
I was
start.
gonna say. I was gonna say Taylor is best taken raw. No, that's not.
Oh, that's kind of what I was alluding to, but in reverse. Because ladies and gentlemen, I pitch. I don't catch. So
That's true.
he
That's
would
true.
know.
That's true. I've heard stories.
Uh,
Actually, none. So before we get into it, I'm going to try to do this right in the beginning. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the show with your friends. Although maybe not, because no one wants to watch this anymore, apparently. Even though your editing has gotten much better. No one wants to watch it anymore.
I feel like I have.
It's ridiculous. But, it's okay. We're just going to keep doing this because it's really more of a hobby. It's an excuse for us to just babble on and drink bourbon, which, is really...
Hey, I'm not complaining, so.
No, me neither. So do that. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell down below if you'd like to be notified of when we upload videos at some point. And then if you prefer audio, yeah, I know. If you prefer the audio version, right, you can find us on Apple and Spotify, right? Leave a 5-star review there if you like, or leave a 1-star review. It's up to you, I guess.
It's usually there.
It's usually that, yeah. And so how's it going?
It's going. Meet the teacher day was today for my middle child going to school for the first time, so that's always fun. My eldest, he's kind of like over it. He's excited to be back, but he kind of like, to him it's like, all right, this is where the cafeteria is. All right, moving on. Like
he's a savvy veteran, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I've done this already.
He's going into the second grade, but since it's his third year at the same school, he was just like taking her by the hand. It's like showing her the teachers. And there's something that I've got to give him credit for, because we're walking up and the principal of the school is at the front door to greet all the students. And I'm like doing the math here. I'm like, okay, let's just say 10 students per class, 10 classes for kindergarten, whatever. And this is like one of those schools where it only goes up to fourth, but like there's like at least 250 kids,
Easy, maybe even 300.
One rolling out, new ones rolling in. They all remember my son's name.
It is pretty unique, to be fair.
It is, but he also makes an impression. Like, everybody knows
I wonder
Titus.
where he gets that
there
from.
was fourth graders that I've never met that when we'd go for like the book fair or something, be like, hey, Titus. And be like, who's that? And he'd be like, I don't know. And they just know his name.
Some groupie, I don't know.
So apparently he's cool. But I know him because he's kind of like a shy little nerd. So he likes Roblox and he's not really into that. But it's the ones that play hard to get people that end up wooing the ladies, I guess. But no, sure. Rolling up and principal remembered his name, right? Hey, Titus, good to see you again. And who's this? Who are you bringing to school this time with us? Do we have somebody new? And he's like, yeah, this is my sister. And of course she's like, all right, what's your name? She's like, Lillian. And of course she's like saying it. She's kind of got like a lisp the way she talks. And normally she's so loud and shrill that you can hear everything she's saying. But of course right now she's kind of quiet and timid.
A little shy. Yeah.
So everybody that she was introducing herself to, she had to say it like twice, and we'd have to, as parents, chip in and be like, it's Lily, Yeah. But she turned back and be like, all right, Titus, are you going to introduce me? This whole funny story, and I'll stop. But so Titus turns to the principal, pushes my daughter forward and be like, all right, Lily, this is Lillian. And he kind of like freezes, and the principal's like, Titus, do you remember my name? And he, stone cold, could not remember his principal's name. The principal, out of how many kids, remembers his name, but he couldn't. And I just had to like step in and be like, oh, that's summer brain. He's been shut off. But so it's kind of like, damn, dude, like really?
This
You
is
have
your,
one principal.
This is your moment to shine.
One principal. So that was funny though. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you had Meet the Teacher Day. For me, it was my eldest first day of kindergarten today.
First one, dude. Did you cry?
No, because I was busy already working.
There we go.
By the time
True man.
So, what can I say? It was a little bit of a hectic morning, right? Because you had to get.
Was it
into
more
routine.
peaceful at home with him gone? Let me ask you that.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, when you have only 2 out of the 3.
2 and they're both girls. You take the boy out of the mix.
Liam, what are you
What
talking
am I
about?
talking about? I'm used to my own household, but yeah, you've got the.
It's
the
your
sandwich.
godson.
I know. Anyways,
Oof.
Liam, Lila, and Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got it. It just took me a second. So yeah, you don't have the 2 girls. That was my curse, not yours.
Yeah.
But you got the sandwich. So you had the youngest boy, but you got the oldest. And no offense, he's kind of crazy. He can get rambunctious.
He is quite rambunctious.
I'm expecting the phone call stories from you when he's in school and be like, all right,
We'll see, because again, today was just day 1. It went well. His teacher, right? She's very nice. So I think this will be good. Not too big of a class. It looks like, I think there was like probably about 10, 12 kids, something like that, right? Which
That's
I
not
think
bad. That's pretty good.
pretty standard kindergarten class. But yeah, I mean, I think part of it wasn't as emotional just because last year we had him in like this 3 days a week, preschool program, so we were kind of used to it.
Yeah.
The day started a little earlier and the day went later than that did, but we were kind of used to it, and he was kind of leading up to it, like he was he didn't seem very excited until like this morning. He like popped right up when I went to go wake him up, and he got dressed right away and ate breakfast quickly. So it's gonna be a new routine, So it'll be good. It'll be good. So
That's awesome. Hey, it's better than tears.
Oh yeah.
Dropping them off and she's like, "Don't leave," clinging to the door
There
frame.
was this one mom, because there was for these kindergarten. All right, it may not have been just kindergarten moms, but for these moms, they had after dropping off in the morning, they actually went to Prince of Peace and did like a little rosary for like the kids starting school.
Okay.
And so one of the moms was sharing the story about how last year her kid, until April, she had to basically like drag him out of the car and like force him to go into school.
Till like April?
Till April. Monday through
You're
Friday.
like over the hill at that point.
I mean, yeah. But she was still forcing her child out of the van.
The things we do for our children.
SUV. What is this? It was fucking Law and Order.
Yeah, but that's what it sounded like. Special Victims Unit.
Yeah, Christina told me that. I'm like, I mean, to be honest, after a month, I'd be like, dude, my Will cannot compete with that kid's. He's not ready for school, man.
He's not. You hold that kid back one more year.
But you know what? Kudos to that mom. You want to talk about willpower? That is fucking willpower right there.
Hey, strap on some boots and a helmet and give that woman a machine gun and send her out for this country.
Send her to the Ukraine. She'll have this wrapped up in no time.
That's fake. We already know about it.
What? What are you talking like videos of like,
I should send you some more stuff because they're like, did I send you that one about they've got the misters set up?
No, what?
So downtown Kiev, they've got misters set up. When you're walking around the city streets, they've got misters to keep everybody cool and happy.
Everything's a lie. We live in the Matrix.
It does not make sense. And the more you dig into it, it's funny because like Putin's apparently going for like the pedophile rings and all that kind of stuff and trying to uncover that. So it's like this whole thing's like I don't want to say proxy war, but it's like a cover up. But whatever.
Everything's just ridiculous.
We're just along for the ride, people. And we're happy to be here to kind of talk about it. But more importantly, we talk about our kids. So
yeah,
that's all we've done so far.
I mean, big milestones. I mean, yes, obviously Titus is in his 3rd year of school. But, you have your second child, right? Starting kindergarten. So y'all only have one. And just a lot of stuff going on. And then
It's
we
true.
have other stuff.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Being in a big family, it's just
Comes with perks.
It's just bonkers, man. Just
and as in
absolutely bonkers.
perks, I mean Percocet, because you need a couple, because it is.
There's never a dull moment. I will
There's
say
that. There's that.
It's
You know,
never
it's
a dull
funny
moment.
because one of my good buddies watches this show, and he's always calling my wife because my wife works for him remotely, and he's always asking. He's like, all right, so what's the today in the life of the Andersons or whatever, like kind of show.
Catching up
He's
with the
trying
Andersons.
to catch up on the dish, the gossip of what's going on, because with the family this large, there's always something.
Always something.
Like I married into it, so I know. But as a good friend of mine, he's like, he gets bits and pieces, and he's like, all right, what happened next? It's been a couple weeks. Fill me in. He's got to get his dopamine hit.
To be honest, it's better than any reality TV show.
It really is.
No questions asked. No questions asked.
Hey, funny story. I saw a TikTok the other day about Jersey Shore. Pauly D. Did you ever get into Jersey Shore?
I watched it a little bit. Yeah, I did. It was funny. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was good. But that was like my generation. That was it. Like senior year, like freshman college, like that was the show.
Yeah, because it
went on
it
for
went from
like 4 seasons, I think.
Yeah, like between like kind of like 2009 to like 2012.
I think it was
like that.
10 through 13 or
something like that. Yeah,
But
right
it was
in
right around there.
That sweet spot.
And yeah, it was talking about how much Pauly D made per episode. So originally, when they didn't know they were even going to be on a show, they accepted. They went to this casting gig. They got accepted. They were like, "Oh, you're going to be filmed on this show. We don't know if it's going to be taken off or not." And apparently, what they filmed actually ended up becoming the pilot. He was making like only $5 or $15,000 an episode for the first season. But still, as somebody who like has never made money, yeah, go back to the writer's strike and all that. I'm like, oh, you poor guy, you made money for just talking about grenades and like drinking.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry, rough life. But I get it. There's like no privacy. It's camera in your face. But it's only like 4 weeks long, dude. It's like 3 weeks.
I don't feel bad.
And you're done for the rest of the year. You've made your anyways. But after that first season took off, by season 2 or 3, it was at like $750K an episode.
What?
Yeah. For him, he made like $750,000 an episode. It goes 12 episodes. He was clearing like $4 million a season. So he's like, I think the gross of what he made over all 4 seasons was like between 30 or 60 mil, if I remember correctly.
That's ridiculous, man.
It just, the way it starts to go up when you're a show that is getting in ratings was crazy. So, speaking of reality TV, anyways, they're a little bit of
same
information.
thing like with, I mean, when that's where like this age of like,
but now it's all TikTok and YouTube.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's, it's funny.
The whole NPC movement. Did you see that in the last couple of weeks?
No, what is that?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about, really?
Actually, no, I really don't know what you're talking about.
This is cringe. All right, so on TikTok, there's people who are going and doing the TikTok lives where they get the gifts and the donations and do all that, and the chat's going, where they're acting like NPCs, which an NPC is a non-player
I know what an
character.
NPC is.
Oh, so that but just kidding. So for those at home, an NPC is like an in-game character that's
it stands for non-player character in a video game.
Something you interact with that has like 3 words. Do you want to go on this mission? Yes or no?
Yeah, you get a quest from them.
But so there's these real people going on TikTok lives acting like NPCs, and like if somebody gives them a rose, they're like, rose smells so good, and like they're reacting like somebody sends them a hot dog, glizzy, oh, like they're just like reacting to every like emote or whatever that people are gifting to them, but they can come at like at 5 or 10, so they're starting to go faster and faster, then they switch, and they've got these like sentence, like 1 word, like little reactions to whatever's happening. And they'll be on live for like 2 hours and they'll clear like $4,000.
We live in the greatest and the stupidest time ever in history.
I thought about doing it if anybody would watch it. Like, send me some money. Like, as a father of 3, you kind of like, I don't want to say I don't have pride. Obviously, I'm a prideful person, but when it comes to that, I'll do a lot for $1.
You're just a common whore.
I ain't common.
But I might be a whore. Oh my God.
What are we even talking about today?
I don't
Because again, I'm not in the loop. So
you know what? Why don't we do?
Do you want to do the video? Or
Let's do that. Because speaking of horror, I think this is a good segue actually.
All right, let me.
So, do you know who this person is actually?
Yeah.
Oh, you do know who she is.
Yes.
Like no, or you just know who she is. Okay.
Okay.
So this kind of got my attention because again, for the 14th billionth time, we are very much traditional in the way we view the institution of marriage and a lot of other things. And when a
happy life, yeah,
correct. When a former porn star,
you actually said it. Good job.
Oh yeah, or that's like a bad word on YouTube, right?
Apparently. Oh, especially TikTok. You're like corn star.
Corn, whatever.
Corn.
She was an adult film actress. Is that like
an adult entertainer? P star? I don't know. P star. Guys, you cannot take us seriously.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's best. Oh, that's
apparently,
awesome.
Yeah, you sent this clip. We're gonna play it now. But apparently,
she's giving marriage advice,
which exactly who you should take it from.
I mean, I don't think anybody could give better advice about the institution of marriage than an adult film actress, or I guess former adult film actress. Apparently, I think. So let's roll the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Roll the clip.
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not
good advice.
A sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You have to go. I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your fucking life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period. Do you want to be stuck with someone?
So there's a lot there, right? I mean, here's the thing. Again, like we already said, like I think just a good general rule of thumb when it comes to like advice on like love and marriage, like an adult film star is not the person to listen to. A general rule of thumb.
A general rule of thumb for life in general that I want to lead by is
don't listen to porn stars.
Take advice from somebody that you want to be like.
Yes.
Somebody that you put on a pedestal, somebody that, you want to like emulate. Do you want to emulate a porn star? Like really? Like, is that your idea of successful? Like, no. So when it comes to marriage, you look towards, just for that example, you look for examples in your own life, or even if it's like Hollywood and there's like one couple that you can, if for example, for Hollywood, the only couple that I would even say would probably even make it in my book would be Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Other than that, Hollywood's trash. But there's some like good examples even from there that you can try to take, or from your personal life. Like there's examples like my parents are good and bad, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you want to. But you're going to take advice from this? Like, I don't know. Do not know.
Yeah, I think what's funny. It's funny you say that too, because I would say I do admire Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
They have a funny relationship.
They do have a funny relationship.
They poke fun at each other and they use social media to do it. I love it.
Yeah, it's very funny, and I think she just had another baby. I think
he's like cranking her out. There's like 4 or 5 now.
Well, I mean,
there's a 3. I think it's probably 4 or 5.
To be fair, I mean, can you blame the guy?
Can you blame her?
No, I wouldn't. Have you seen him?
It's Deadpool, so
it is.
But the good one, because he went through that phase where he's Green Lantern, bad Deadpool.
Oh, like
he's redeemed himself.
The X-Men Origins. Have you ever go back to rewatch that movie?
It's been a while.
It's so bad. It is so cringy. Oh my god.
I'm sure,
but I love it.
Hey, there was somebody who was wanting to play the new Gambit. I can't remember who, but
is there gonna be? I guess there will eventually.
Was it Channing Tatum or somebody?
He was supposed to do like a solo Gambit film, but like it never like happened.
Anyways. Look at us nerds going off on a tangent.
Oh man, we can
Marriage,
really go
back
into
to
it.
the clip.
Yeah, back to the clip. So we can get back to nerd stuff in a second though. But to what I find so interesting about this clip is the level of like pride she has in being
What's that
having
cocky
3
confidence too?
failed marriages. It's just like, and this goes to what you were saying. I didn't want to forget to not point out what you said is listening or being like people that have what you want, right? Whether it's in relationships, spiritually, financially, whatever, right? If a person doesn't have what you want, you should not listen to them, like ever.
I mean, if somebody goes through an experience that you don't want to experience and they're giving you advice on how not to experience that, then sure.
Well, yeah.
But it sounds like she's almost bragging about going through it, not giving you advice on how to avoid it. So that's what I would say. It's like, she's like, you go get it, girl. You know, you do you. Like, what? You scared a little paperwork? Like, that's all a divorce is. Make that appointment. Do that paperwork. Be like, it's so much more than that. Because to me, when you enter that commitment, it's more than just paperwork and an appointment. This isn't a doctor's visit. You know, this is, heaven forbid, a house or worse. There's children involved. Oh no, you got to, who gets the pet? Like, that's easy stuff compared to dealing with kids. You know, it's, so when you enter this commitment, it's supposed to be for life. So I'm sorry, do your homework, date for 15 years before you make the commitment if you're not sure of yourself, but don't enter it thinking that there's a way out. I mean, obviously there's a way out. There's that emergency escape hatch, heaven forbid, but it's a last resort. You should do all of your homework and commit yourself to that person fully prepared to duke it out or work through whatever battles life throws at you, God throws at you, without just thinking that, oh, it's just one appointment and a couple paperwork, signatures away from getting out of this, because it shouldn't be that easy.
No, absolutely. And I think, it's the flippant nature of the way she views it, because it's very interesting that she views.
And honestly, not to cut you off, the only thing I would say to that is this seems like something that only an entitled rich person would be able to say, because you going through a divorce is not cheap. Splitting it up, custody battles, lawyers. This is only something that somebody with more money than they can do with is able to brush off like it's no big deal. It's just an appointment. I'm going on marriage number 3. Weddings alone are expensive. Let alone the divorces, splitting things up, the lawyers. Can you imagine? That devastates most middle class or normal people. So
specifically devastates men particularly. And again, and I think you make the great point is that for her, it's easy to say that because she's someone that I assume has zero intention of having children at any point, right? So breaking off a marriage for her, a quote unquote marriage for her, is meaningless, right? But it's as meaningless as.
She was with Tom Brady too? I didn't even know that.
No, I think she was just comparing herself to Tom Brady because he has a bunch of Super Bowl rings and she's going through engagement rings or whatever. Oh, so you're a whore. Oh, okay. We're probably going to get flagged. And
corn star
YouTube,
reference. I don't know.
Whatever. So, I mean, it's just, I guess to what you were saying, when the average person hears this, they don't, again, it's very out of touch because, again, it's so absent of the reality of the average person that is actually taking in this content and God forbid taking her seriously, which she has a pretty big platform. I think she has a couple million people that follow her on.
Even if you reach that
on TikTok, whatever,
0.001%, if she's truly speaking to somebody that's going to actually take her advice, who's in an abusive or something relationship, then fine. But that's a 1 in a million chance, because most people out there are going to listen to her and be like, they're going to do something stupid, or they're going to pull out of a relationship that they don't need to pull out. They just need a little bit of work. I don't know. The people today need more commitment.
Well, and it's funny you say that too, because she used the word you shouldn't have to basically you shouldn't have to follow through with the commitment you've made. She's making that
it's just a commitment. It's just a document on paper or whatever she was like.
Right.
Saying.
Like it's she
Is that how you view your marriage? Is just something you signed on paper?
No, not at all.
Exactly.
And again,
in fact, our religion or yours, I haven't quite committed, but it's a sacrament.
Okay. Soon enough.
Soon enough. Yeah. But it's a sacrament. So I don't want to butcher it, but what is a sacrament to you?
Well, I mean, I think we can
it's
even
like it's like a goal for your soul.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
pretty
like,
much. I mean, I guess if you want to take it,
it's like Mario Kart. You want to get that lap, and then the next sacrament is lap number 2, and this is Rainbow Road. You want to get first place, you know?
Oh man, I can't wait till I want to get like a Nintendo Wii so I can play.
My parents have one. I've been bugging them to get it out of storage because my kids would play the crap out of it.
Oh but I loved Mario Kart. It's
but you need to go
the best games.
Sorry, we're getting off topic again, but you need to go with the Wii.
Yeah.
Because the Wii has a full controller. You do the tennis games and all that stuff.
Oh no,
they outdated it.
Wii is underrated and underappreciated for what it was.
It is, but my point is, I've had people come over and they brought their Switch and stuff like that. My son has a Switch Lite, which is basically just the newest Game Boy, but the real Switch with the controllers that come off. I've got grown-up hands.
They suck. Yeah, no,
they're like,
it's like, oh yeah, here's your controller. I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't press any buttons.
You can't. So
I can't press any buttons, Joe.
So you might as well, I don't know if you even save money because it's older now, so collectible, or if it's still cheap, just go with the Wii.
I'm going to look real quick.
But kids, they don't, at least my kids, your kids are young too, they don't need the newest, greatest games. You know how many games are out there that are great for them? Wii Tennis, Wii Sports.
Wii Sports? I used to play that all the time.
That.
Bro, okay, look at this. You can get one on Amazon for $100 refurbished. Are you kidding me?
Boom.
I'm probably gonna buy that.
You should do it.
I'm not.
Invite me over.
You know what's funny? I'm not kidding at all.
How many controllers? It better come with 3. At least 3. You have a family.
Let's see. I mean, I only need one controller.
Just playing by yourself. All the kids are in bed. Your wife's reading a book or something. You're over there playing.
You play on
just getting my steps in, babe. Playing tennis.
You're right. Yeah. How many controllers? It doesn't say how many controllers it comes with.
The point is, it's out there, people.
Yeah,
I mean, he's getting very, very deep down here.
I am.
I'm
probably gonna buy that when we move into the new house. I'm not even lying. What were we even talking about? Oh yeah. So, sacraments. Why are you moving to Catholic apologetics? So, okay, I'm no theologian. I'm not the perfect Catholic. So, anyone listening who is Catholic, more Catholic than I am, they're probably gonna hear me and say how much I butcher this.
You're being modest. Just spit it out.
It's not. I'm just being okay. So anyway, sacraments are just different, kind of like you were saying, kind of levels that you take as far as your commitment towards being Christian. Right? No, you're correct, right?
Yeah.
Because the ultimate, I shouldn't say ultimate. The final sacrament of initiation is called confirmation because you do reconciliation first, first communion, and then confirmation, right? And then after that, you have the sacraments of
They're like extra, bonus levels. You got marriage. You've got
so damn it,
saintlyhood or charity.
So you have
death.
So you have those sacraments of initiation, but then you have anointing of the sick, which is for people who are passing away or they're just ill or going through major surgery. But then you also have the sacrament
Lil Wayne.
of correct.
I heard he was so sick that he was ill.
The illest. And so then you have sacrament. I forget what they're called. You have sacrament, but these are in the same class, ordination, which is someone who becomes a priest or a deacon.
Right.
Then you have the
split
sacrament
off the path
of marriage,
yeah,
right? Because both are there's a similar consideration, right? Because if someone becomes a priest, they're considering, giving their life to the church or marrying, marrying, right, be the bride of Christ, whatever, right? And then you have
bride of Christ.
This is a whole. Again,
I've never even heard that phrase. It sounds like the bride of Frankenstein to me.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit better than that.
I've heard of the Holy Trinity, but the bride, I tapped that. Just kidding. So bad.
Ooh, man, we're so off track. But then you have the sacrament of marriage, right? For anyway, so that's how it's viewed, right? But even
the point is, it's important to
right.
us.
But even in general, you can kind of look even in broader, just general Christianity, right? The idea of being married, right, is considered a whole a covenant union between you, your spouse, and God, right? Whether it's in the Catholic tradition or any other Christian tradition.
That's why most marriages are in churches in the first place.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, as nice as your barn dough wedding was out in rustic wherever, most, that's a good ceremony, but, or reception, but most of the ceremonies are in a church.
Yeah.
Because it's taken seriously and, it's a holy commitment.
Right. I mean, it's you saying to yourself, not that, oh, I'm stuck with this person, is I'm committing myself to this person. And again, if you want to, have it in the Christian perspective, you're committing to going through your life with this person ultimately to help them get to heaven, right?
Right.
Again, you can, I guess, X that part out if you're someone who isn't Christian. But for the general Christian perspective, that is the idea. Is my job is to get my spouse, get my children to heaven. And so when you take all those things, when you strip those things away to the technical contract of just being married, right? Through your marriage license of the state, right? It's pretty pointless. It is meaningless. I will say to a certain extent. And that just goes to, I guess, in a lot of things in general of our continuing path in our culture of removing spirituality and removing God out of our everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And it ultimately, it's hurt the average person, right? To the point of this, because it's like, obviously I made fun of her, whatever, for being a porn star or whatever. We'll get flagged. There's nothing I can do about it now. I mean, I'll give her a little bit of credit because I think she's spoken out about the adult film industry and the very dark and negative things about it, which is a good thing. However, right, for her to be so flippant, and again, maybe it's because of that and maybe other things, or maybe how she grew up, where she sees marriage is just some just thing. But again, I think that's a broader cultural view, right? If you aren't in any sort of group or whether religious or otherwise that sees marriage as something that's valuable, how can you take it seriously?
I think unfortunately a lot of women today are getting this notion that marriage isn't a forever thing, that if you don't like it or if there's something that's not going your way, that then you can get out. And I think that's how it's been portrayed to our youth.
Well, absolutely, and that's why,
because
again,
God is being removed more and more from the household, from education. I mean, even down to the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God. Like even the little things. And once you start removing that, then what's left? You
Mm-hmm.
hope you grow up in a household that at least still has values. Values are one thing, but without morals, and morals to me are a direct reflection of what you believe in, which is 9 times out of 10 religion. Because even if you're an atheist, where do your morals come from if not from religion? Even if you don't believe in it, there's a whole debate there.
Well, yeah, and that's been, I think, spoken a lot about in regards to people like Bill Maher and things like that. It's like, if we're, from where they get their general morality or moral compass.
Yeah.
Well, that's based upon the Judeo-Christian society that has been
what is
built.
right and wrong, yeah.
Right? That is what has given your idea of what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah,
whether you want to recognize
Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. Says who?
Mm-hmm.
Humanity's been killing itself for years.
And I find
you
that
kill an ant, you don't feel bad, but you kill a human, suddenly you do. But where did that right or wrong come from?
Right. Well, where do we see the inherent value in the individual, right? And that's where it's so funny when you have atheist types that will say, well, you need the Bible to say that not to kill people. It's like, no, you don't necessarily need the Bible, but it gives us a blueprint and why that we shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. And here's what I do know, right? Any regime throughout the human history that has been atheistic usually ends up killing a lot of people. I don't know if that, I really don't believe in coincidences, right? That's just true. Especially if you look in recent history. The most horrific, brutal regimes in the last 100 years have been communistic, atheistic, governments. That has been the most devastating thing to humanity in the last 100 years. It's true. Again, people talk about Hitler and the Nazis,
right?
The Soviet Union and Stalin's Soviet Union, it was much worse by a lot. They were responsible for killing many more people. And then if you could extend communism to, communist China, whether it was Mao versus and then now.
Mao and now.
I didn't mean to have that rhyme. And then
I
Pol
got it.
Pot, it goes on and on. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, do you need the Bible to tell you that killing someone is wrong? I don't know. Maybe there's an argument that maybe we do, because whenever we've stripped that away, we seem to forget things like that.
Yeah. So even if you don't believe in that directly, those kind of leach out into the rest of society as what is right and what is wrong.
We have built what we have now based upon Judeo-Christian principles.
Yep.
Period.
Sure.
I mean, there's no argument that you can make to rebuttal that fact. Whether you want it, whether you're a Christian or not, whatever, you don't have to be. I mean, it's your prerogative.
Right.
But to deny what set the foundation for that is just it's silly. It's ridiculous. And so I think it's just, again, this video is just an example of the degradation and the, again, continued decay of our culture morally. I mean, it's just
yet another example of how these high profile, I don't even want to say celebrities, but these high profile citizens,
I mean,
are like so removed from the
I
rest
think you
of
just
society.
say influencer.
Yeah, that's better, because I don't.
Yeah.
Celebrity seems like I'm glorifying it, but I mean, like you can be a football player, you can be a corn star, you can be whatever, politician, actress, but these people with any kind of influence at all, and they just get this like inflated, like sense of like morality, what's right and what's wrong, and they try to like preach out to everybody else, and I don't know. I just think that it's gone to their head, and that they just kind of say what they're thinking at all times. And unfortunately, that's the side effect of social media and everything. That's that computer in our pockets, and they just tweet it out or make a video like this, and then it's out there. And then unfortunately, it's out there forever. So even if she changes her mind or finds love with that fourth marriage, and it's like, I was wrong about everything before, like I've never felt this way, she can't undo that video. It's out there. Somebody's copied it. You can't delete it. It's there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, you just hope that people, find that anchor in their life, or that good example, like I mentioned earlier, to hold on to. And that's what you strive to be like. I don't know. Right.
No, 100%. And unfortunately, I think also is, again, because you also have, the red pill sort of people that want to basically in the same way also speak poorly about the institution of marriage and things like that. And it's things like this that, again, men see, and they think, well, why would I bother getting divorced? See, like they'll just leave you in an instant. And again,
it's overly defensive, if you ask me.
What is?
The red pill movement. I think it's almost like they're afraid to get hurt.
Oh yeah, I mean the red pill space is a aggressive reaction.
It's power to the men kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's an aggressive pushback of feminism, and again, there's a lot of things. I mean, or not a lot, but there's certain things about it that I'm like, I get it. I'm like,
oh, for sure.
I got you. Right?
I would say about like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say so. But again, it's that 20% that's really.
It's hard to swallow.
No different than feminism. It's just flipped from the other.
It's the exact opposite.
Side.
It's just as extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's but that's the stuff that gets.
It's like with everything in life
and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that clicks equals money and equals more views and more fame, and guess what? Leads to more clicks. More views.
And it's things like. I don't know what this guy's name is. It's like, I think his name is Justin something. You've probably seen him on TikTok. He goes on all kinds of shows. He's kind of this big, like he's like he's this fit dude, and he's pretty big in the red pill space. And it's like, when it comes to like general things about men, I'm like, thumbs up. Like, you're right. Like, it's important. Like, men need to do this. Like, you need to do this. But then it's like when it gets into like the relationship part of marriage, I'm like, no, that's where you lost me. Like, you value marriage just as poor, or you view marriage just as poorly as the psycho blue-haired, feminist, right, yelling at me. You just say it in a different way from the male perspective. And again,
it's like, unless you're going to cook and clean for me and sign a prenup, don't even bother. It's like,
well, it's not even that. It's like they just kind of throw out the idea of marriage in general, right? Just like, just basically sleep with as many women as you want, which, ultimately, whatever, it's your prerogative.
I mean, it's pretty much toxic masculinity too. No, I get like taking charge as a man again, because masculinity has been shoved down for so long in these last few years, but don't overreach. I mean, with anything in life, there's a balance point, and I feel like you and me try to find that.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get the clicks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And here's the thing is that, I certainly am someone that, when it's come to the red pill stuff, I'm like, it's great. I'm like, the average, it's a way that people are speaking to the average young man who has been, demoralized and a lot of different things, and no one's really believed in them and really given them something to really grab hold of, right? Jordan Peterson really personified that in a very positive way, really putting a lot of positive energy behind it, right? And again, this is just a lot of the red pill stuff is just a big reaction to the amount of power feminism has gained over the years, and it's really hurt people in I think multiple different facets, right? But ultimately, what it hurt is the average person, because people are not willing to get married, they're not willing to do these things, make commitments, right? And at the end of the day, one of the strongest institution that we have as a society is marriage and the family, and that that builds a strong foundation for a strong culture, right? It's legacy, and again, it's almost a direct correlation. If you see how when it comes to the institution of marriage, how it's been broken down, right? Whether it's through legally and just in the eyes of popular culture, the more that has gone down, right? The more divorces happen, the more single motherhood rates have gone up, all these kind of things. The general morale of the West has just continued to go down and down.
Right. What goes up as a result? Homelessness, crime, poverty,
suicides. I mean, all of it. Everything. All bad things get worse.
Speaking of suicide, like that, at least that's one thing that I feel like has come out as a positive with the red pill movement. I'm not condoning it. Like we were just talking about it for a good few minutes. But I will say male suicide has been an issue for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of men who have somehow sought refuge in this movement and has given them the sense of empowerment or entitlement. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but at least it's helped their mental health to an extent. And we just hope that most of these kids, they're young adults, young males, 13 to 22 maybe. It's helping them through this growing pain of adolescence. And when they come out, they'll find that right woman, that right job. They'll mature a little, which for us men takes a little bit longer. And they come around. And then they find those same values that they were holding dear, but they actually find the real meaning of it, such as family, such as marriage. And that kind of extremism stuff falls off, but at least they're here to tell their tale. Because a lot of times, I mean, it's been hard. I mean, male suicide. I mean, this video is probably already canceled for that, but suicide, has been like a huge issue, and it's something that hasn't been discussed with men, especially for years.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you're right. I mean, it's something that is actually getting a lot more attention because it's just something that has gone to the wayside in a lot of ways because just the over feminizing of our culture, or as our good friend, a term that our good friend Ali Drummond like to use a lot, as the gynocentrism of our culture, right? I mean, I was listening to this, I think it was a video, TikTok or YouTube, whatever, about how, when it comes to things like, when it comes to the mental health, thing, right? We people like to talk about it a lot, but like when it comes to men, right? they're told to handle their mental health the same way women are told to, and it's just not how it works, right? To tell a man to share his feelings, all this kind of stuff, is not the. I'm not saying that he should ignore them, right? Because as a man you shouldn't, but to just break down and cry out, it's not the same, right? Because making men feel vulnerable is not the way to make them feel better, right? The way to help a man to feel better is to make him feel capable, to make him feel powerful, right? Not powerful to take advantage of people, but be powerful in feeling confident with the decisions he's making and the direction he's trying to go, right? That's how when a man feels capable, he's not going to be depressed. When a man feels incapable, he feels like he can't do something. That is when you're going to see these things, right? Mm-hmm. And telling him to be vulnerable or share his feelings, that does nothing for him. You have to help him feel capable. You have to help him feel like, I can find the solution. I can solve this problem.
A man
and
needs
that's
a
how
sense
he'll
of control.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's a sense of control. It's just a sense of, I can figure this out. I can handle this.
Not like even over others, but like over himself, over life, his position.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
His place. If he feels like he has no say over anything that he does, like, it's disastrous. Like, he's got to have a sense of control, at least over himself or his day to day. Otherwise, dude, as a man, biologically speaking, it's not going to work. If you feel like everything you do is out of your control and there's nothing that you can do that's going to change it, it's depression. And from there, it's a spiral. Mm-hmm. Like waking up, go to work, do the grind. It doesn't matter if you try hard at work or don't try hard at work, and you come home and your bills still aren't paid and your wife still doesn't love you, no matter if you bring her flowers or not. Like, it's just bad. So.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that has been a big, again, I think that is a positive thing from that. And the more we can focus in on helping the average young man to be inspired to do something great, I think that's gonna be a big deal for our society. And then ultimately find the woman that he can be with, and have a family and have, a bunch of kids.
Amen.
Or at least some kids. Because, and we talk about this. It's where you find purpose. It's where you find legacy. And again, as a man, that's going to be the biggest deal for you, And at the end of the day, again, men, we can find solace in material things just because the way we're wired, but it won't compare to saying, this is what I'm leaving behind. This is what, I'm giving to the.
Well, it's more than what you're just leaving behind, and I don't know. I mean, legacy is a good word, but to me, that comes with lineage too. Mm-hmm. But you can, just because you have children doesn't mean you're passing on a good legacy. Mm. So that sense of fulfillment can almost come from other ways too, without just having kids. It's one word that comes to mind for me, and I was just thinking about this, is teaching. That's why teaching is such a rewarding career. Just passing on information, teaching the next generation. Like, even if you I think the best moments as a father is not the fact that I just created them and I walk away. I'm like, oh, whatever, go ask your mom. Like, that's not legacy, but it's the little moments in between that. Like, even if you volunteer a Big Brother program or something, or go to the Y, and you're teaching these kids or special needs kids how to play ball or something, those are those moments in life that you feel like you're passing something on. It's rewarding. It's like teaching your kid how to fish, or how to tie their shoes. It sounds so stupid and silly saying it out loud, but the thing that you're passing on is not just knowledge, but you're teaching something. You know what I mean? And you're passing it on. And that to me is true legacy. But you want to take it a step further as a parent. Your legacy is doing right by them and setting them on a correct path, both in education, in respect, and not only that, but in religion too. What are your morals? What are you going to do for your kids? You gotta set that foundation and grow upon it, and it takes every single day. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, and that's where you'll find, the greatest joy in your life, You know?
Oh, for sure. Otherwise, life is dull. Like, I don't know. I've gotten newer vehicles, for example. This sounds silly, but it's something that I go back on and reflect on myself quite a bit. And growing up, you know, going to school or doing this, and you have a vehicle, but that kid, you know, you've got a nice ride, but that kid's got like a Roush Mustang, brand new, you know, and he's got this chick in his car, or this or that, and it's like, you always, if that was me, then I would be happy. And you wait a couple years, and you're patient, and then you finally get a Mustang or something of your own. And you realize you're happy for those first couple of days, first couple of weeks, and you can't stop looking out the window and looking at it. It's like, I finally got a Mustang. And then you get a couple months in, 6 months later, a year later, and you realize to you, it's just your next car.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that it's like, honestly, looking back after going through several vehicles or something like that, that, you know, you may have a favorite or this one was fun, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, looking back, it was still just another vehicle. Other than maybe how much you spent, like emotionally, or like not even like almost physically. Like it didn't have much difference of an impression. Like maybe it gave you a few joys, but you could have had a good moments in the other vehicle. Like, but that's how everything with life is.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to find the joy in those moments that actually give you fulfillment, not just happiness. Because happiness comes and goes, but fulfillment is bigger than that. Like, there's moments that are bad that you can actually grow and like fill your soul with, that even if it fills your soul with something that's almost kind of negative, but it's giving you like a sense of like life, it's still better than just small like monetary or momentary happiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when it comes to, when people say, again, like, I'm just trying to be happy, I think it's the stupidest thing you ever say, because, again, happiness comes and goes. And at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to the things that happen in life, life is, I heard this, I think I read, it was either audiobook or podcast I was listening to. It's like, life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% is just how you react to it.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And it's just like,
it's your outlook.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know,
how open you are to like take it in.
Oh, 100%. And it's just like, you know, like when it comes to things like that. And again, I think it's important to have goals, even material or monetary goals. I think it's good to have those things. At the end of the day, though, it's not. I think sometimes we think success, whether in marriage or relationships or financially or whatever, a lot of times people put a destination on it, kind of like you were saying. I was like, well, if I get this,
it's about the journey.
Well, then I'll be happy. It's like, well, if you don't take happiness in the process of getting there, you'll find no happiness.
It's
and
like
you won't
Lord of
find
the Rings.
any joy.
They could have taken the Eagles to Mordor. You know what I mean?
God.
But it's about the journey.
Oh my God.
And if you're so fixated on the destination, then you're never going to remember the ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it sounds so stupid, but it really is. And the older I get and the more kids I have, the faster things go.
Mm-hmm.
Going back and looking at pictures of my son lately, I was doing it the other day. I'm just like, oh my gosh. My youngest daughter, Iris, I'm like, that's the same face Titus used to make. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, Titus was this little. And then it seems like it was yesterday, but then you realize, I'm like, that was 6 years ago. He's going to the second grade. Mm-hmm. And I know I've got young kids, and there's people out there, maybe even listeners who've got high schoolers or even further out, and they're like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about yet. Just wait, it gets faster. And I'm aware of it. That's what worries me, is the veil's already off. No offense. But it's just speeding up. And that's how life is in general. Like, the longer you live, the more life you've experienced. So your view on life is only speeding up. So like my newborn, she's almost a year old. That first year of her life feels like forever. But the longer you are here on earth, the faster things go. So unfortunately, the legacy we keep talking about, it's going to go faster and faster. My daughter is almost a year. It feels like she was born 4 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
And that's my
right?
Yeah.
That's
my third. My firstborn felt like he was a year for 3 years of my life. It just keeps faster and faster. So the moments that you have to hold on to and soak that life in, like you were talking about, that 90% is how now you react. And honestly, I've become a better parent as I have more kids. I'm not without my faults, but I do try. But I want to look back on and remember like that I had grace and that I had, moments that I took and I could have went a certain way, but instead chose to like be better. But again, that's that part of that 90% that you really want to hold on to.
Yeah.
I mean, every day is like this. I can blink, and with my workload at work or with kids, crazy, we get caught in this routine, and we've talked about it time and time again over these 2 years we've been doing this. And it's like you get caught up. I mean, you can blink and just zone out, and it's like Christmas time already, and then it's like, okay, boom, it's Easter already. Who knew? And then you got anniversaries, birthdays in between. Do you really want that? It's easier that way. It's more work to live in each moment and hold on to each moment and live in it, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, but I mean, honestly, we could all end up dead tomorrow, so who knows? All I'll say is like try to hold on to that 90%. So
yeah. Well, again, I mean, the only thing you can do, like from that, I guess that quote or whatever, is that the way, again, because you can't control what happens in your life, but the way that you react to it is in your control, and that is where your power is going to lie as an individual. You know what I mean? Is that you can't control what's going to happen to you, but you can absolutely control how you respond to it. And if you take ownership of that, and if you recognize that, you'll become so much more powerful in the decisions that you make and things you're able to do, because you'll gain confidence and you'll be at peace.
Well, that's a good point too, because not to get too spiritual again, because we've been doing that a lot this episode, and I'm usually not that spiritual, but I will say that's a big point on fate versus faith. Because fate is that 10% of what life is throwing at you that you have no control about, and you can succumb to it and realize life's out of my control, doesn't matter what I do. But the faith is that out of the 90%, and how you react to it, how you perceive it, and how you choose to view it and move forward. So your actions to what's happening to you, you could say, are fate too, but I choose like that's free will. That's fate is going to happen regardless, and it's almost like one of those like choose your own adventure books.
Yeah, it is.
You can't choose what's happening, but you can kind of choose how you react to it. Do you turn to page 6 or do you turn to page 69? Or, but to me, that's how I view life. But you've got to be open enough and willing enough to take that chance on that 90%. I don't know. I keep fixating on the 90%, but I feel like it's really important, because a lot of people can stick their head in their sand, just be like, life is what it is. Politics this, Trump this, Joe Biden this.
A lot of people don't take control.
They
that's
don't.
where they feel that life's
or
out
they
of
get
control.
numb to life.
Yeah.
And then they're just blowing through it, and then they realize they're 30 and they're broke, or they don't have a deep relationship with anybody, or with a type of, or with Christ in general. Or it's like it doesn't matter. Or with their parents, or with their brother, or whoever. They're lost and they're alone, and it's almost too little too late. But I will say it's never too late, but you got to start sometime. And I'm blessed enough that I've been kind of aware of this for a while, and I knew what I wanted out of life, and I'm definitely blessed. So.
Well, I mean, I can't depend on that. I mean, I wanted to talk about something else, but
it's concept for next week.
It's a lot less positive, so this is much better. So
I'm glad.
On that note, wherever you are, right, take collection of where you are, okay? At this point, there's, what's happened has happened. There's nothing you can do about it. But from this point forward, for the 4 of you that are watching or listening,
Jesus,
you can decide where you go from this point, whatever that means. Right, it's up to you.
And remember, even if you're at rock bottom, the only direction is up.
That is true. Buster Moon said that. Probably nobody's gonna get that reference. Cheers to you. We'll see you next. I don't know. Next week, next month. I don't know.
Later.